Good morning and welcome to Our Chicago. I'm Judy Sue. The storming of the U.S. Capitol was unlike anything we had seen before, and it all played out live on our TVs and many other screens. It was upsetting for many adults to watch. Children saw it too. So how are they processing this and the political discord that we are seeing? And how should parents talk with them about the images from the Capitol riots? Joining me to talk about all of this today, Dr. Alexandra Solomon, a licensed clinical psychologist at the Family Institute at Northwestern University. Dr. Solomon, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I know this is something that we're talking about at home with our kids. A lot of families, I imagine, are doing the same thing. Of course, we also have the pandemic, the restrictions on school and activities. Very stressful times right now, and then we have the images of some of the protests across the country, and then what happened at the Capitol. So many adults are having a hard time making sense of these very jarring images. How do we begin to have that conversation with our kids, and how important is it that we have those conversations?
I do think it's important that we have those conversations. And I hear you completely that we are asking so much of parents right now many of whom are homeschooling while trying to hold together their jobs and coping with all of the stresses, the mental health stresses, the physical health stresses, the financial stresses. And I think that I would like parents to take pressure off themselves in that they do not need to provide answers and complete understanding. I certainly don't want parents lecturing their children, but children will tell us what we need to know if we listen carefully. And so I would really encourage parents to ask open-ended questions. What have you seen so far? How have your teachers been talking about it with you? How are you feeling? And what I tend to find is that parents are pleased and delighted and touched by how children and teenagers make sense of the world around them. So I would encourage less talking and more listening.
Oh, I do like that. I want to break it down just a little bit by age. I know with my younger kids, I have one in 5th grade, we're always talking about being fair and polite, being open-minded, not resort to name calling, not quite what we are seeing right now. How do we explain this to the younger ones and help them process sort of what we're trying to teach them versus what's going on?
I think you're exactly right that we can, our politics are a reflection of ourselves and of our history. And so I think that there are ways we can talk about what we as a family value and the kinds of things that they value within themselves. I think those are important conversations. In some ways, those conversations do depend on race. So I really do want white families to be doing their own work around understanding the history of white supremacy and white supremacist violence in our country and figuring out how we are going to be allies in the movement towards racial healing. And that also means talking with our children about that, and especially with our teenagers, monitoring what our teenagers, especially our teenage boys, are consuming on social media, because we have evidence that right-wing domestic terrorist groups are doing recruiting with children as young as 11 years old. So we need to, as terrifying as that is, we need to be clear-eyed and savvy about this. And certainly for families of color to be talking with their children, those families of color are holding both their own fear for their safety and their own grief about ongoing racial trauma. And so finding ways also of talking with children about the stories of resilience, of civil rights, of healing, and of moving forward.
So true. And I do want to follow that up with a question about the preteens and the younger teenagers. I do think it can be really tricky with them right now because, as you said, they might be hearing different things, not just on social media, but from different friends, different families, and then their social media feeds. I do feel like sometimes parents are really battling and having to navigate through what the kids are hearing on social media. Any advice there on how we talk to them about what they see on social media?
I think exactly what you're saying, that parents need to keep a close eye, closer than they usually would, on social media and asking questions. What are the kinds, the YouTubers that you're watching, the friends that you're following, and influencers you're connected with, like, what are they saying about this? And just asking, again, in very, very open-ended ways, and not being shaming and not being angry, but being really deeply curious about how teens are making sense of what's happening out there in the larger political scene and how it ties to their own lives.
Any warning signs? How do we spot signs that maybe our kids are having trouble with coping with all of this, maybe worrying a little too much and dealing with anxiety?
Right, exactly. I think, the main thing here is for parents to be practicing their own self-care. So self-care is mandatory, not optional. We have to stay informed and we also have to step away. And our ability to regulate ourselves as parents then allows us to be observant of what our kids are going through. So anytime we see, we're going to see, I think it's understandable to see changes in our kids' behavior. Some of that may be regressive, so they're going back to things they used to not do. They want to sleep in our rooms with us. The younger ones may sort of have more, accidents around toileting than they would have had. And I think those are all behavior is communication. And so normalizing and validating and stepping away and really remembering that as parents, we are our kids' lighthouse in the storm.
It is so true. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and keep communicating with our kids and keep listening. I heard you. Dr. Solomon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
The political discord, the possibility of more violence around the inauguration of Joe Biden coming up, in the ongoing pandemic, have adults feeling anxious, stressed, and fearful as well. After a short break, we're going to be talking about how we can manage that, what we are feeling at this time. We'll be right back.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.